What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. The Boston Celtics on opening night, ring ceremony, opening up basketball for the world this season, mollywop the New York Knicks 132-109. It wasn't even close. New York with their newly acquired Karl Anthony Towns. If you didn't know, I can't stand Karl Anthony Towns. He's the most overrated player ever. He's my most hated player. Arguably, maybe even my most player hated ever. It's Karl Anthony Towns. Go check out my Karl Anthony Towns playlist, and I'll give you all the reasons why. But I'm not going to get into it this episode because this is not what my focus is today. I don't want to talk about the scrub that is Cat. It was such a blowout. I'm not really going to focus on the box score at all. And if you're new here, I'm not big on numbers. I look at them and I take them into context. But just for your situational awareness, this is what it's looking like. Notable players, Brunson had 22 points, negative 23 plus or minus. Shot well, 9 for 14 from the field. 1 rebound, 2 assists. OG Anunoby didn't have a good game at all. 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 for 7. Karl Anthony Towns in his usual not aggressive, or if not, he's going to be aggressive and just clunking up threes aggressively. But Karl Anthony Towns, 5 for 9, finished with 12 points, 7 miserable rebounds, and 3 assists. All right. The Boston Celtics, as I think much of us expected, to continue their stride, their energy, their momentum, coming in off a championship, winning the finals last year, had pretty good balance across the board. Didn't go super deep into their bench, but got huge contributions from the players that mattered the most, and some moderate contributions off the bench, specifically the boy Hauser, who I expect to have a larger role this season based on how he performed in the playoffs. And Peyton Pritchard didn't shoot very well, but played meaningful minutes. Cornette played 19 minutes. Tillman played 18 minutes. But from the notable players, Drew Holiday, fantastic. 18 points, does the things Drew Holiday does. Al Horford hitting those baseline threes. Very timely shots as usual. Derek White with the defense, efficient as well. And then you get into the Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown dynamic. As you all know, Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP last year and had a great game this opening night. 23 points, 7 for 18 from the field, 5 for 9, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. But Jayson Tatum wowed and delivered and put his foot down and his print on the game. Tatum finished with 37 points, 10 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and only 1 turnover. Shot 14 for 18 from the field and 8 for 11 from three-point range. Lights out for Jayson Tatum. Not really going to break down everything that happened in the game. It was a blowout. The New York Knicks were outclassed in every aspect of the game. It's that simple. That's how simple this breakdown needs to be. But I want to talk about Jayson Tatum and his performance, all right? So, notice the 10 assists there. One thing I mentioned about Jayson Tatum in the playoffs, especially in those finals, is how he took a major step forward in running the offense, setting the tempo, and being a fantastic playmaker and facilitator. And while Jayson Tatum caught a lot of heat for struggling to score the ball in the finals, which pretty much cost him the finals MVP, one thing I said is that he was impacting the game in other areas, especially playmaking and facilitating. Even if the assists weren't huge, watching the game, you could see how he was setting other players up. Might not have always been for the assists, but getting players in their position and making the right play all the time and initiating offense. He was spectacular at that in the finals. And I thought for those contributions and what scoring he did provide, I felt that it should have been a co-MVP. If not, go to Jayson Tatum. But I didn't have a problem with Jaylen Brown getting it. But I thought he did enough great things outside of scoring that co-MVP definitely could have been warranted. But you know what? It's a team game. It's okay. Doesn't matter. But I love to see that now coming into the season, because I think we are really going to see Jayson Tatum take the next step as a basketball player and evolve, especially when it comes to his playmaking, decision-making, facilitating. And I love to see it. And I think this is where he's really going to set himself apart from Jaylen Brown. If there was any doubt about who the better player was, when you just look at their scoring numbers and their energy and their shooting, and you might say, oh, they might be on par defensively, I'd give the edge to Tatum, but that's just me. But if there was any doubt, I think this season Jayson Tatum is going to definitely create some separation, just based on his ability to handle the basketball better, which allows him to more efficiently play make and set other players up off the dribble should he have to. And I think he's going to separate himself from Jayson Tatum. I think he's going to separate himself from Jaylen Brown this season. And I don't think there's going to be any doubt about who the better player is between the two. And I think they have a healthy and friendly, competitive atmosphere between the two. And like I said, it's healthy and competitive, and it only helps to make each of them better and also make the team better as well. So I think it's a good, healthy, beneficial, competitive atmosphere between the two. And I love to see it. I really do. I think Jayson Tatum definitely is going to have a chip on his shoulder this season, considering the fact that, he didn't get Finals MVP. Not saying he's hating on Jaylen Brown, but I think that added some fuel to his fire, and I think he wants to prove a lot of people wrong that he can be the leader. He can be an MVP. He can be a Finals MVP. And that's great to have when you're coming off of a championship. And sometimes players get too comfortable and they don't have the hunger that they had before after reaching the top of the mountain. And him having something to continually add fuel to his fire and push him forward with momentum, that's going to be great for the team. Most times teams don't get that fatigue till after they've won 2 or 3, but still you see a lot of teams win one and never get back to the promised land. I really do. I feel like Tatum's going to be extremely motivated, and I feel like he's going to continue to expand his game and continue to improve on this playmaking aspect that we've seen so much of in the playoffs, specifically in the finals from Tatum. And I'm telling you, I love to see it. I really do. And honestly, I thought he should have gotten more MVP votes last season. They always like to change the criteria. They were the best. They were by far and away the best team in the league. What happened to all the best player on the best team nonsense, right? The whole MVP thing is so bullshit, and the criteria tends to change from season to season or every couple years on how they want to decide who wants to win. Because if it was the best player on the best team in the regular season, that should have went to Jayson Tatum last year. But we have become such an analytics league now, such an analytic-driven NBA that, he's not going to have the huge numbers that a Joker might have, or Luka Doncic might have, or James Harden might. He's not going to have those kinds of numbers because he doesn't play like those guys. He doesn't. But if he continues to facilitate as much as he does this season and kind of be, for lack of a better word, the point guard on the team, those assist numbers are going to go up. His rebounds are going to be steady. And now you might see him dip into that analytics conversation with some of these other players that put up and boast the huge numbers individually. So I'm curious to see where this goes. But I'm telling you, folks, I think this is going to be a breakout season for Jayson Tatum. I think he means business. I think he's coming out to show the world how he has advanced as a basketball player, and it's going to be beneficial to the team. I don't think him and Jaylen Brown are going to step on each other's toes. I don't think it's ever been like that, but those are narratives people were trying to push over the last couple of seasons. I never thought that, but a lot of people did. And this Boston Celtics team, again, I believe is going to be on top of the East. And I do believe this Boston Celtics team, again, will represent the East in the finals if they have a decent bill of health on their side. Antetokounmpo is my favorite player. I think Damian Lillard needs to step up now that he's in a position to win the championship. But I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks are as good as this Boston Celtics team. And they're only going to get better, man. I really believe that. I do. But we'll see what happens, man. I think this is Tatum's year. I really do. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Congratulations on the Boston Celtics, or congratulations to the Boston Celtics for their championship. Happy to see them get their rings. I'm a lifelong Laker fan. Can't stand the Celtics, but these boys went in there and handled business despite all the narratives and BS and people not giving them the proper credit. They went in and did what they had to do, and I'm sure they'll do it again this season. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.